Ah, love you, babe. Ba, 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 ba.
Madam Speaker, the American people have spoken. They have fired you and have chosen to end the Democrats' one-party rule throughout our government. The days of this chamber being treated as Pelosi's house instead of the people's house are over.
Some days the software just doesn't work. So kill it. Folks, it is the 10th year anniversary. I can't get the software to give me the video. Mr. T made a great 10-year anniversary intro type thing, and thank you, Mr. T, for that. But it won't download. The programs won't download. This is kind of funny. It almost feels like, well, that's how things are in social media if, I guess, you're not a good guy. You're not on their side. Folks, it's crazy. We've got this incredible battle going on. And let's see, I've made, let's see, the bold predictions that shit will hit the fan eventually. And then I was I think the first to come out and say, look, it's hit the fan back in 2020 because of Cerveza-Bug. And then a couple of weeks ago, I said, look, World War III has started. It started. Whether you want to accept it or not, whether the history books, say the exact day I said it was, well, when they bombed a Russian airbase using drone technology that didn't originate in Ukraine, that's an act of war. And now I've got another thing that I want to talk about. Let me give you this. In Arizona, a judge has set a legal schedule for Kari Lake, who is the Republican nominee for governor, her lawsuit against Maricopa County. Well, there's a tentative trial scheduled for next week, folks. I guess a motion to dismiss can be filed by the Democrats. Folks, there's evil that has happened. And there are facts that Democrats want to suppress. We have facts about medicine, facts about illness, like SADS, sudden adult death syndrome. There should be no such thing as SADS. Give me the reason why people are keeling over. Don't just give me sudden adult death syndrome. I wonder what it could be. Nothing's fucking changed in humanity for the last, 6,000 years, but all of a sudden. Anyways, we've got more problems, folks, and I want to talk about this. They're fighting for our republic in Arizona. This is really important, right? The judge orders Kari Lake, Katie Hobbs, the Maricopa County Nintendo officials to appear at an emergency hearing regarding the lawsuit over the Nintendo results. I guess this is a real issue, isn't it? If a judge is ordering the supposed governor-elect and the would-be governor-elect, right? And then the Maricopa County officials who are in charge of Nintendo in Maricopa County, if the judge is ordering them, I guess this issue is real. I guess it's not fake news. I guess it's not lies and made up bullshit. If a judge is ordering the new governor, the other would-be governor, as well as the Nintendo officials. I thought questioning the results made one a Hitler fascist. I thought if any judge even entertains the idea that there was a problem and that there's a Nintendo recall and Nintendo crimes, I thought that was all bullshit, made up, impossible in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Well, it is a real issue, folks. And I want to say this about it. I want to say this right now in 2022, on December 13th, 2022, our 10-year anniversary. Not only has shit hit the fan, not only has World War III, folks, come to life, I'm going to say that if Kari Lake's lawsuit loses and all the other lawsuits in Arizona lose and any other lawsuits, if they don't demand and find in court that there was a Nintendo game that was cheated at and have the results thrown out, if they don't do that, if these lawsuits lose, like they lost in 2020 because they weren't even looked at in 2020, if the information that has been generated and created, the facts of the case that Kari Lake and other Republicans have presented to judges, if the judges absolutely refuse, if prosecutors absolutely refuse to hear these cases, then I'm going to say that the Democrats' election system is permanent and our republic is dead on the operating table. And consequently, next level SHTF is guaranteed for you and I. And we are going to be in a fight for our lives very soon. I've been watching and I've been keeping my powder dry on this. Folks, if they cheated in 2020, hell, they cheated in 2016, just not enough. They cheated in 2020 and were successful. And they've cheated significantly in 2022. And if the Democrat system is not challenged and thrown out, then this republic is dead. The bottom tier of the citizens, the people of the country interacting with their system of government and being allowed to freely choose, if that's taken away, then this republic is dead. Because if you can do that, you can do anything else you want. Right? That's what I have to say about this. We had shit at the fan. We have World War III, and the republic is close to being dead, folks. It is on the intensive care unit with barely a heartbeat. If we don't have elections, folks, if we don't have elections, then what do we have? Ask yourself that question. Along with, do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan, right? You're going to need all those fucking things for SHTF. But if we don't have elections, how does government exist? Who gets to be in the important chairs? Back in, 1932 or was it 33? Hitler decided, we're not going to have a legislator anymore, right? No more Reichstag, no more Congress or Parliament. None of that stuff. He's just going to be a dictator. If we, the people, don't elect through voting who sits in the chairs in Washington, D.C., if we don't do that, you and I, then are they appointing themselves? In other words, you can have a faux legislature with a faux president and a bullshit faux Supreme Court. And they're going to hold those positions, folks, in name only. Because truly what it would be is a bureaucratically driven puppet system where people pretend to represent the people. And I know a lot of folks might say, John, it's been that way for decades, man. Yes, they've selected candidates and we've voted for candidates for decades. And we always seem to get either left-wing swinging Democrats or rhino Republicans. It's just not great, right? But we're finally stepping up and fighting back. And this is what happens now, right? As we put more energy into fighting for our rights, our enemies in D.C. and in every state are fighting harder to destroy the system. And they want the system destroyed, folks. That is their goal. So when they go to these links and take these efforts, and as I stated a couple of weeks ago, these communists are willing to lie, cheat, and steal. They're willing to break the law. They're willing to get caught to break the law to ensure that their new system, which is not free, it's not fair, They'll do anything to get it, because once they get their system and they make their sacrifices as they have for decades, well, then they own America. They own America. Now, I know that sounds very negative. It doesn't sound like the good news, right? No, this is not the gospel, right? It's not the good news. This is what the hell is happening. All right. Okay. Checking in with Uman. Uman's here. Get your questions down below. Give me your thoughts on what is going on in Arizona and the state of the nation with regard to the people being the final determinant party, right? The people as a party, not a political party, but a collective group deciding who is going to run this country. How do you feel about it? I'm going to give you this. This is, right, that's the fight we're fighting. Now, interestingly, right, there is fighting in D.C., and we keep saying, let's vote in real Americans. Let's vote in real conservatives, right, who are independent of the political machine in D.C. Send them up to D.C. to fight. Well, we won the Congress back, you and I, even though we're losing the system, right? The system that I say is up for grabs. But they're fighting in D.C. now. And it is incredible what happened today. The Republican representative, Nancy Mace, and Republican Representative Brian Donalds confronted a LGBTQ trans activist named Alejandra Caraballo, who decided to speak at the oversight committee. Right? Unbelievable. Right? During questioning of this person. What are they doing there, right? Why does this person need to be in front of the House Oversight Committee? Well, a group of radical, fucked up left-wing jackasses. And I think that they probably qualify for a lot more excoriation than that. They decided they were going to go to Washington, D.C. and discuss extremism and white supremacy in front of the House Oversight Committee. Folks, extremism, you know, like drag queens showing up at school and children being taken to drag queen shows where they touch the children and the children are allowed to touch them. It's fucking disgusting and perverted. But they're going to come and discuss extremism and white supremacy in front of the House Oversight Committee. Folks, the Republicans have won back the House, but that change of power doesn't take place till January. So in the interim, screwball Nancy Pelosi and her party are in charge still. So during questioning, Nancy Mace, Republican from the great state of Virginia, or should I say the Commonwealth of Virginia, asked this far left lunatic panel if they believed extremist rhetoric leads to violence, right? That's what the leftists are claiming. And that's what I'm saying is, well, the left is introducing violence, folks, in my opinion. The left is causing violence, in my opinion. The left is committing acts of violence, and that's what we saw. And that's why we need to be especially vigilant and especially prepared as Americans, as preppers, as veterans, as patriots, because these leftists are lunatics. But they want to come to Washington and call white supremacy. They want to claim that extremism exists. So Nancy Mace asked them if they, the lunatic panel, believe that extremist rhetoric leads to violence. Now, all the leftists agreed that those words online lead to violence. And so Representative Nancy Mace, Republican, confronted essentially the trans activist Alejandra Caraballo. Is that Alejandra Carry My Ballos? She talked to her about several tweets. Alejandra, not right-wing tweets, but this left-wing trans activist. Her tweets called for violence against Supreme Court justices. And they all agreed that extreme rhetoric leads to violence. So Caraballo was taken aback. She's not used to being confronted with her calls for violence against public officials and her hypocrisy. Is it a her or a he? Because I don't know if it's a woman pretending to be a man or a man pretending to be a woman. I just don't know. All I know is it has the name Alejandro Caraballo. So then Republican Brian Donalds of Florida confronted Carrie Myballos on her attacks against American parents who don't want their children to be victims of grooming in the classroom. Incredible. And even gays against groomers, folks. Yeah, there's gay people who don't like all this grooming that's going on, and they don't like being associated with it. Right? So they posted video of these idiot leftists getting just destroyed in front of the panel. See, this is what happens when logic and reason meets idiocy. We, the people, elected real representatives, sent them to Washington to confront these types of freaks and fruitcakes. And they did. We need more of this. But if we don't get our election system cleaned up, it is over. If these judges don't uphold the law, if they don't hold people accountable, it is over. And the republic is dead. And all we are left with is this sort of thing in Congress, fighting with these people and arguing until acts of violence break out. That's right, folks. SHTF Mad Max. Unbelievable. And I'm really glad, right, that these congressmen and congresswomen confronted these fruitcakes who call us extremists and say acts of violence will happen when it is they who call for violence and they who are the extremists. Yep. And Andy Ngo, NGO. In fact, I was talking to someone in a prepper coach with John about Andy Ngo, who does Twitter. And apparently he's got a rainbow on his thing. So he must be an LGBT type person. But he put down and showed, hey, right, Alejandro Caraballo at Esquire. Right. Unbelievable, folks. These are the greatest hypocrites and the biggest idiots. And they have a seat at Congress. What kind of world do we live in, folks, when that's what we have? We've got a really fucked up world, folks. I mean, get this. How about this? Here's a big thing, right? And in fact, I've got a new take a wild guess intro. Hey, thank you, Mr. T, for that. And folks, in Germany, no, we're not going to talk about Nazis. In Germany, a data analyst has revealed data. Once again, folks, data is facts, and how it's presented can be misleading or can be very precise. So what they're showing, and this is what is being said, is that German data says that health insurance is showing a 4 times increase in sudden deaths following Jim Jones juice. So we're not talking about the overall death rate. We're not talking about an increase in the overall death rate, but the death rate in people suddenly dying. Now, I just made a little joke a little bit ago, like, since when did people start suddenly dying, right? Right? SADS, sudden adult death syndrome. Well, apparently, according to Germans or German data, it happens. People just die suddenly. But that has grown 4 times. That is 400%. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with people having other issues and other health problems and diabetes and polio and measles and smallpox, right? This is just people who suddenly die for no apparent fucking reason. It's gone up 400%. Does that mean we should really take a wild guess? Keep an open mind, folks. Don't shut out the data because it seems outrageous. We got some problems. And this is incredible. On Twitter, Dr. Peter McCullough is restored. And he is now updating his followers on what they have missed, the research he's produced, the discussions he's had, the data he's found. Dr. Peter McCullough. Okay, is he God? No. Is he a doctor? Yes. Is he absolutely perfect? No. Is he being honest? I believe he is. He's been attacked. He's been threatened with losing his license. He has been castigated. And he is out there and continuing to say what he believes. And since when are you not allowed to say what you believe? Well, in Biden's America, folks, in SHTF America, you are not allowed to question the authorities. But Twitter has said, no, you go right ahead, Dr. Peter McCullough. And here we go. Here we go. And yeah, Twitter, Musk says, right, I identify as prosecute Fauci. I thought that was rather clever, right? And now we have this. Folks, we got to fight back. We've got to fight back on every front, but we've got to get our elections. And I pray that these courts do something real. I would say that the best thing to do is throw out the Nintendo results in Arizona and have a redo. I'm sure the current governor will be just fine polishing that chair with his or her ass, depending on what he identifies as, until the new election can show its results. And boy, would the world's eyes be peeled. That would give me some confidence that this can be salvaged. Otherwise, the republic is dead. But the fight will continue, folks. Get this, down in the great state of Florida, Governor DeSantis is calling on grand jury, saying, hey, grand jury, we want you to look into Jim Jones juice injuries, which I'm sure will include deaths. They want them to investigate the cerveza bug Jim Jones juice injuries. And I say, do it. Do it. Get the information, investigate it, and see if they're lying, see what information is available, and then indict Fauci and Birx, Dr. Birx with the scarf. These people need to be hauled into a court somewhere and held accountable. Once again, why can't we hold these people accountable? Why do they get to say what they want, do what they want, and then just go, well, I'm just trying to do my job, and they don't get held accountable while the rest of us get destroyed, right? I mean, this is what we've got. Has shit hit the fan? I wonder. Well, folks, Joe Biden invites a drag queen named Marty Gould Cummings, to attend the, quote, Respect for Marriage, end quote, signing. The Respect for Marriage Act is going to be attended by a drag queen with Joe Biden. Do you think that Joe Biden would have been as popular? Remember, he's the most popular president to ever be elected, Joe Biden. If the world knew that he was so beloved by drag queens. Because chicks with dicks who groom kids is all about respecting marriage, parents, children, and our culture, right? That's right. Chicks with dicks who groom kids. They're the good guys. I mean, seriously, just set yourself back and think about World War II. We just defeated the Nazis. Americans are paying more taxes than ever. More Americans than ever have been killed in war, both in the Pacific and the European theaters. Right? Women are taking industrial manufacturing jobs. Rosie the Riveter is born, right? People have sacrificed and lived through the Great Depression. What do you think they would think if the president in the White House decided to have a drag queen attend the signing of new statutes? It wouldn't last 5 fucking seconds. But today we're supposed to believe that this fucking relic, this fossil of a Democrat represents America. Folks, the reason they want Twitter silenced, in my opinion, the reason they want to shut up free speech, the reason they have to censor me and silence you is because they know. All of the leftists out there know that Make America Great Again, America First, patriotism, the American way, right? Apple pie, mom, baseball, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence are far more important, far more popular than they would ever have us believe. They want to believe that people don't want the Constitution. I bet the number of people that want it is well over 70%, probably over 75%, with only the most radical dipshit communist scumbag Democrats wanting to throw it out. Folks, the Democrats and politicians just lie, and then they lie some more. Why would they lie about anything else? Well, because that's all they're good at. Selling us on the idea that drag queens are welcome in the White House. They're not. They don't represent America, decency, our culture, our traditions, or our law. They are a fringe sexual deviancy. And I say, fine, go be a fringe sexual deviant. Way the fuck over there. Get out of our faces with that shit. Unbelievable. Now, moving on to this bit of shit, right? The Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC, has indicted Bankman-Fried, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX's CEO, who didn't really know what was going on and didn't realize his girlfriend was mishandling billions of dollars, didn't realize that he was commingling investment funds. He didn't realize this and he didn't realize that. Now, folks, this jackass has been indicted. That's right, he's been indicted. Supposedly been arrested down in the Caribbean somewhere. He's been arrested and he's going to be extradited to America. But the indictment does not mention anything, any amount of donations from FTX to politicians in America. It's just omitted. It's just not there. Remember, FTX just took funds and put them in their own damn bank account, sent funds over to Ukraine, laundered the money, had it sent back to politicians in the form of donations. Incredible. And now, folks, the CEO, this punk kid who had anywhere from $50 to $100 billion in his control, he's being indicted. Someone's going to go to jail, folks. It's not going to be Biden. It won't be Hunter. It's not going to be Nancy. It won't be Mittens Romney. But we know now who is the patsy, who is being sacrificed, and that the courts want to hide the benefactors of this money laundering scheme where they took investors' money and gave it away to themselves. This kid didn't even know that he was being set up for this. I really believe he's that stupid. I really believe he had no idea. Now, again, they've already audited, taken a look at all the numbers and said this is the most poorly run, incompetent company ever to handle this kind of money. A bunch of kids with no experience handling billions of dollars while living like kings down in the Caribbean, having nerd orgies. Unfucking believable, folks. Except you better believe it because it's real. It's real. It's real. I mean, I could go on, folks. I could go on for fucking hours every day with new news. You remember Loudoun County in the Virginia Commonwealth, the state of Virginia? Remember when those trans students were raping girls in the bathrooms? And the school was just kind of sweeping it under the rug and they were trying to keep it out of the public eye. Well, now the former superintendent, Scott Ziegler, he's been indicted, folks, on charges because of his handling of the sexual assault cases within the school district. These people are that sick. They know what they're doing. They know what they're hiding. They know what they're pushing on people. They know what they're doing to the kids. They know what they're doing with the money. They know how they're destroying the military. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. They're just pretending to be stupid. And they're lying and expecting the American people to swallow it. And the Democrats out there in the public, they do. I'll tell you what, to the Democrats out there in the public who buy all this shit coming out of DC, the mainstream media, go get your boosters. In fact, go get 2 or 3. Winter's coming and it's going to get very cold. Go line up and get your boosters because they're both safe and effective, right? Safe and effective. These sick people, folks, right? Now, this is what kills me, is Washington, D.C., the politicians and bureaucrats, they steal from us and reward themselves with big paychecks. They're so used to stealing from us that they have no problem stealing directly from private citizens, right? Like Joe Biden's pup handler, right? The total walking freak show, Sam Brinton. He has now been fired, folks. Kicked out of the Department of Energy over his felony thefts, right? They're so used to stealing, lying, and cheating that when they go on vacation, they're just like, I'm just going to steal from any people I see. I mean, is being a kleptomaniac, a kleptocrat, pretty much the same thing? It would seem like it. It would absolutely seem like it. I tell you what, I need to do something real quick. Don't go away. Don't mind me. I'm just fixing. There we go. I'm just getting the light fixed. That's a little bright. Okay. There we go. Light unplugged. Oh, man. Are you ready? I'm ready. It is time for the Q&A on this 10th anniversary of the prepared. Like I said, I can't get the software to work. The fucking light goes out. Shit has hit the fan.
Are you ready?
Folks, this is a bottle of Scottish water. It's 18 year. 18 year. It's the good stuff. Everybody, getting mighty low on the good stuff. I'd like to raise a toast to all the patriots, the Americans who ever fought and committed their lives, their efforts, risked their lives, died for freedom, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, themselves, their family, their children, their offspring, and offered up their faith in support of all things good. God bless them all. Semper Fi to you. The 18 year, folks, is very, very smooth. Heidi says, happy 10th, John. Thank you, Heidi, very, very much. It's been a long time that I've been sitting in the Prepared Mind seat. It was years before I would do live broadcasts because I didn't want to say something stupid. Can you believe that? I was worried about saying something stupid. These idiots in DC and in the state buildings and the mainstream media and social media, they say stupid shit all day long and no one gives a shit. I say one thing wrong and people jump my ass. I violate their little rules, right? And they punish me. They punish you. Tell me it's not SHDF. Tell me it's not a war. It is, folks. It truly is, right? We are in a war. And now the Republican Party of Texas, the GOP of Texas, is joining Arizona and their GOP Republican Party, calling on the Republican Party, calling on the leadership to get Ronna McDaniel out as the Republican National Committee chairperson. This is Mittens Romney, one of the greatest rhino sellout pieces of shit ever. His daughter is running the Republican Party at the chair level. So thank you, and God bless Texas. And thank you, Arizona Republicans. God bless you guys as well for standing up. You need to question and contest all these results of Nintendo. You need to. I can't even say the words, folks. Not allowed to say the words, right? Unbelievable. They're lying, they're cheating, and they're stealing. We need to put an end to this shit. And we need real leadership. Not Ronna McDaniel, not Turtles McConnell, not shitbox McCarthy. We need real freedom-loving Republicans, not these sellout pieces of shit. As if the Republicans in the country are like, yeah, we need to elect somebody who's not really going to fight for me, who's going to be happy to lose and sell us out and then claim that they're trying to be bipartisan. Yeah, while they line their own nest, feather their nest with $1 million bills. All right, man, what do we got, man? We got D. Samuel. He says, your wisdom has helped improve my life. Thank you. Mr. Samuel, thank you as well. I have learned so much sitting in this chair, talking with you guys over the years, tens of thousands of you. Right now, there's over 80,000 people subscribed to the channel. I'm sure we've lost a few, and we lose them all the time, and then we get new people all the time. It's because you share this internet address up here. You share the internet address, and people get to wake up. They get to be red-pilled, right? Red-pilled, red. Means emergency. We're in big fucking trouble, folks. This republic is going to die if these courts do not stand up and allow law, order, and justice to prevail. All right. Thank you again, Mr. Samuel. Those are kind words, and I learned from you guys as well. Ooh, man, who do we have next? And the answer is right there. From Chester Mosley. He says, witness the reception provided to the Chinese representative versus theirs of Joe Biden. The petrodollar is dead. Our standard of living will wane and threats of war will increase. Well, the petrodollar, it is dead as the sole world reserve currency, meaning the dollar, the U.S. Federal Reserve dollar, was the only currency allowed to use for the last 50 years to buy oil. Well, that's all changed in the last year. Now you can buy oil with gold, the Chinese yuan, and basically anything you can do now. The petrodollar is no longer king, in other words. It is, as the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome the Schmo Powell, he said, oh, there's plenty of room for other reserve currencies. In other words, he ceded the fact. He gave up. He let the world know, yeah, the petrodollar is no longer king. It's just another currency. And with that being said, I believe Chester Mosley is right. Our standard of living will wane. Actually, it's already waning, and it'll continue to wane. It'll continue to get worse. How do we know this? Because inflation is an indicator of the power of the dollar. When it purchases less and inflation is up, what does that mean? The dollar is worth less. It is worthless. That's where the word comes from. It is worth less and continues to be worth less. And inflation can lead to hyperinflation. What's a gallon of gas cost compared to 2 years ago? What's a dozen eggs cost compared to 2 years ago? A gallon of milk, a loaf of bread. All of these things, folks. Oh, and how are your wages? Are you making 50% more this year than you did last year to make up for the inflation? I doubt it. And now the threats of war. Oh yeah, there's a lot of threats of war, and that is going to continue. It is. In fact, I have a little piece of information for you guys. Ukraine decided that they were going to bomb the Wagner headquarters. Now, Wagner is the Russian version of Blackwater in the U.S. right? The mercenary group. That's right. The Russians have their own mercenary groups. So in Luhansk, which is one of the, shall we say, new provinces in formerly Eastern Ukraine, that is now a Russian Federation state, Ukraine decided to go after and attack Wagner and their headquarters using rockets supplied by the United States government. Right? So Ukraine is saying, we leveled the Russians who were staying in a hotel. Okay, once you put military people in a hotel, it's no longer a civilian hotel. I've got no problem with that. But the mercenaries, I'm sure, are going to be merciless. I mean, not only are they Russian and they have a whole different viewpoint of how you fight a war and how you deal with an enemy combatant, but these are mercenaries. So the most Russian of the Russians are in Wagner. And now Ukraine, meaning the United States Central Intelligence Agency and military intelligence, have just stepped in a big pile of shit. They have just antagonized and instigated Wagner, who are not a bunch of softball pussies, right? They make Spetsnaz look like a bunch of third grade spazzes. The same way the U.S. mercenary forces is made up of people who enjoyed killing a whole lot in the military. And they just said, you know what? We want to keep getting these notches on our rifle stocks and get paid good money to do it. Soldiers of fortune, folks. What do you think? I'm asking you directly. What do you think these mercenaries are going to do after being bombed by the U.S.? What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to apologize? Think they're going to write an essay explaining how they're going to be good? You think they're going to turn tail and run home to Russia and hide under their beds and cry to their mamas? Or do you think they're going to pick up their rifles, probably the AK variety, and pick up their shoulder-launched high explosive weapons, RPGs? And I think that they're probably going to go into Ukraine. They're going to leave Donetsk, leave Luhansk, leave Zaporizhia, and I think they're probably going to turn themselves loose against the Ukraine army and maybe even the civilian population. Of course, the mainstream media would love for that to happen so that they can scream and yell, yeah, see how evil the Russians are. Folks, war is hell. And media during a war is propaganda. And both sides commit, as far as I'm concerned, atrocities. They always have. Right? If you're in Vietnam in 1969 or 68 or 67, and you come across a minor, a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old girl who is acting as a sniper, killing people, killing the South Vietnam Army, killing American GIs, does she deserve to be treated as a child, a 15 or even a 12-year-old? No, folks, war is ugly. It's very ugly. So this whole idea of bragging, we just smacked Wagner down. They're going to respond. They're going to drag us into war some more. So Chester Mosley, our standard of living is going down right now. And war is going to come at a greatly accelerated rate. Not necessarily for us, not right away, but it's coming, folks. We've got war coming on all fronts. Social, legal, media, all fronts. Let's do this. Let's get another question, man, on this 10th anniversary of the Prepared Mind channel, where we said, hey, shit could hit the fan. Are you going to be prepared? That's basically how it started. I gave the 10 reasons why shit could hit the fan, what could cause it. And here we are today, 10 years later, and how many of them are right there. Bonnie Blue 2A says the indictment of the Loudoun County school official came about after an investigative reporter from the Daily Wire, a conservative internet news organization. This came about after an investigative reporter from the Daily Wire dug up the information that was being hidden. So the Daily Wire is not mainstream media. The Daily Wire and many internet website news, shall we say, news providers, news researchers, they have investigative journalists who are out there trying to find the truth and get to the bottom of things, and they do it. And it's really good to hear that this jackass, former Loudoun County official, is now in trouble for their participation in the grotesque cover-up of an even more grotesque crime that was committed not once but twice by transsexual students who decided that they would take advantage of their special status and rape little girls. That's what happened, folks. Let's not put some kind of cute little name and title to it, right? It's not cute. It's not funny. We shouldn't encourage this type of stuff. And now what do we have, right? We have the consequences. We have the consequences of the death, folks, of morality in America. Thank you, Bonnie Blue, and God bless anyone who's out there willing to, well, put it on the line. Really, folks, put it on the line. Go out and find the news, find the information, and spread it. Right? Daily Wire, Gateway Pundit. Right? Citizens Journal, Zero Hedge. It doesn't matter where the information is as long as it is spread far and wide. Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. Okay, here we are, man. Now I'm on the right damn messenger there. Where are we at? How many questions do we have, man? What do we have next? I know that you've got some things you want to talk about. Let's find out what the hell is going on. Setting this up. Here we are. Off we go. Bonnie Blue said, did anyone catch the IS House GOP press conference about impeaching the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas as a matter of national security? He has knowingly released at least 98 terrorists into the United States after U.S. Border Patrol detainment. This came up in the news several days ago. I did not cover it, right, because I offer satirical commentary, comedy, because, you know, we're not allowed to actually think. Yeah. They're trying to impeach these people. The fight is on, folks, but this is where I'm at. I'm like, okay, good. We elected Republicans, and they've taken over or will take over shortly the House of Representatives. We can have impeachment hearings, but folks, this needs to be more than superficial, plastic banana, good time, rock and roll crap. There needs to be criminal referrals. And if it can't be referred to the Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office, where Merrick Garland is, right? We need to refer it to state attorney generals. Folks, when a crime is federal, the crime is also within that state, right? Now, someone needs to be suing jackass Merrick Garland under writ of mandamus to make him do his fucking job. And I'm sure he would still refuse, fight, drag his feet, stonewall, and if he did prosecute anyone, do a chicken shit job of it because he's a puss. Okay, all these guys can do is they're scum, every last one of them. In fact, it appears that I think Jeremy Brown is his name down in Florida, who was arrested for January 6th, right? They've demonstrated and proven in court that the FBI planted evidence on him. At least that's what I heard, but you can't trust anything on this channel. What do we know? This is just satire. Unbelievable. It truly is unbelievable what's going on. Yeah. Released knowingly 98 terrorists into the United States of America. Folks, Joe Biden should be impeached for the same thing because he has allowed this policy to persist with a Department of Homeland Security who is sympathetic to anti-American, destroy America sentiment. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can be anti-American and hold a fucking position in the American government. It makes me nauseous, sick. Now, unbelievable. People are crashing right now, Microsoft, over what is happening with Kari Lake, Arizona, Wendy Rogers, and others. Right? They're crashing Microsoft because they can't keep up with the interest in what's going on in Arizona. And as I've said, that is where, folks, the death of our republic is going to be discovered. In Arizona, of all fucking places. Right? The state where right, the gunfight at the OK Corral took place. Now, we've got this little turd of a human being. Her name is Karine Jean-Pierre. Right? I can't stand this little tart because she's full of shit and she got this job because she fit a socio-sexual profile. She appeared in front of the White House emblem. She stood in front of the American flag. She stood at the podium and said, well, we don't know if the president, Joe Biden, is going to return the millions of dollars of campaign donations that he received from, here we go, Sam Bankman-Fried, the FTX scandal. Millions of dollars just to Biden alone. And they won't say if they're going to return that money. That money is stolen from investors, laundered illegally, right? Laundering is illegal. That is a crime. International laundering is an even greater crime. And Biden's press secretary won't say if they're going to take that money and give it back. Why not? Because they're not going to be held accountable, folks. That's why not. They are counting on the fact that they will not be held accountable. That is how bad the situation is, folks. That is how scummy these people are. Unfucking believable. Okay, let's do this before I lose my shit. Arizona is really, folks, off the hook right now. And I'm glad. In Arizona time, I don't know what time it is. It's 3 hours behind the East Coast. I don't know. But it's the middle of the day in Arizona, one way or the other. And the computers are being crashed. The interest is there. The courtrooms, folks, are going to be filled with people who want to see the real information come out. Elon Musk is doing what he can to reveal the cheating, the manipulation, the censorship, and everything that's been going on with Twitter. The money is being exposed, the laundered criminal international money that went through Ukraine. And the president won't even say they're giving it back. The mainstream media isn't touching any of this, by the way. We're not touching any of this with a 10-foot frickin' pole. 10 years right here, folks, in front of this camera, on this website, on this channel, The Prepared Mind. We've been watching the destruction of our country. Not happily. Saying we're going to be prepared for the worst, doing all we can. And I want to recommend you prep to action and continue to do what you do and send emails every day supporting these congressmen, congresswomen, senators out there who are fighting the good fight. Unlike Senator Mitch Turtles McConnell, shithead leader of the Rhino Republicans in the Senate, who's gone after Trump yet again. And he had this quote, "Our ability to control the primary outcome was quite limited in 2022 because of support of the former president." In other words, folks, they're blaming Trump for the fact that they didn't win, when in fact it was Turtles McConnell, shitbox Mitch, who withheld funds from any candidate in the Republican Party who was pro-America, America first, or make America great again. He is a total piece of shit. And this is what we're dealing with, folks. I don't know what Republican Party he thinks he belongs to. I don't know what he thinks he's doing in that leadership position that benefits America. You know, I was actually rather taken aback and pissed off at Rand Paul, who said, yeah, you know, Republicans aren't perfect, but at least they're not recommending that your kids cut off their genitalia. Paraphrasing that, but pretty closely paraphrasing his comment yesterday. Well, golly, Sarge, right? Give me a fucking break. You got to do more than not tell kids to cut their balls off in order to be a good Republican. You need to support the Constitution, support the freedoms of the American people, and remind the government on a daily basis that the Declaration of Independence was as true then as it is today, and it can be made so again, and should be. The federal government should read that every single day. It should be played over loudspeakers in every federal building to remind those scumbags that we, the people, don't like tyrants. I don't like tyrants. Do you? Do you know anybody that likes tyrants? I don't. All right. Uman says, here we go. He says, I've seen some of your old videos popping up in my feed. Watch the Run to the Hills video again this morning. That was a great video, Run to the Hills. That was, if you can find the Run to the Hills under the Prepared Mind, it was a great discussion about people leaving cities and what they might expect to find. Anyways, info has held up well over time and is as relevant today. Congratulations, brother. Thank you, Uman, very much. I really appreciate the fact that what we discuss is, you know, some things are timely, meaning they're time sensitive. Other things are timeless, right? What do you need to be prepared? Where are you going to go if things get nasty? Are you going to stay put? Are you going to head to the country? Are you going to head to the mountains? Are you going to head to the desert? Right? Are you going to bristle up and become a porcupine? Or are you going to hide and become gray? All those things are very personal and are decisions we make for ourselves depending on our personal situations, our training, our belief system, our skills, our, shall we say, economic ability to do things. Right? Not everyone can afford to live in the country, to have an escape route and an escape place, you know, a bunker, a place to hide, a bug out location. Not everyone has that. All right. Was that the end of the comments, Mr. Uman, or am I going to be turned loose just a little bit more? There's a whole lot to talk about, folks. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried. It's incredible. Thank you, Uman. He was denied bail because the risk of flight was too great. Yeah, no shit. The guy was already living down in the Caribbean, down in the islands, hiding, and he got arrested. Remember, this is the same little shit who, you know, accidentally gave millions and millions and millions and hundreds of millions and probably billions of dollars to the Democrats. And I want to end the show with this. Hot off the presses, folks. World War III. We just discussed that it's happening. It's happening. They've initiated. Putin and Russia have called for peace. Volodymyr Zelensky weeks ago said, well, I guess it's time to do the peace thing. And then all of a sudden, that's right. The Russian military bases, Russian cities, Russian infrastructure are being attacked, along with, well, Russian mercenaries. And the U.S. is now going to send over to Ukraine the Patriot missile system. This is a major escalation in conflict, a major escalation in tension between the United States and Russia. What the fuck do they think they're doing? You think they're going to scare Putin? Remember, folks, Putin has something the U.S. doesn't. That is an active arsenal of hypersonic missiles. They have the most advanced nuclear weapons on the planet, and I haven't ever heard the Pentagon deny these claims by the Russians that they have the most advanced nuclear weapons on the planet. Right? Now, apparently there's multiple anonymous U.S. defense officials who are saying this. Senior Biden administration official, the White House is finalizing plans to send Patriot missiles over to Ukraine. How is that going to bring about peace, folks? Right? The objective of any war is to defeat the enemy and bring about peace. Does America truly think they're going to defeat? Not America as in you and me, but the American government. No, not the American government, but the Washington, D.C. government, known as the United States Corporation. Do they really think that they're going to defeat Russia in Ukraine by giving a bunch of backwards-ass dumbasses our military equipment? Folks, the NATO forces are saying, look, we've depleted all of our defense. We've gotten rid of they've completely exhausted their weapons in Europe, sending them to Ukraine to go fight. Uh-oh. Someone is saying that I'm not in my 10th year. I'm counting all wrong. 2013 to 2022 is only 9 years. December 7th, 2013 is the first video. I'm in my 10th year. I'm in my 10th year now. There you go. I did my math wrong. Someone shoot me. Well, anyways, I'm counting wrong. We're in our 10th year. That means 9 years have passed. We're in our 10th year. Whatever. At this fucking point, I am exhausted. Why didn't I even read that? I don't give a shit. Fucking 10 years. The United States government is trying to start World War III with Russia. They're trying to escalate World War III with Russia. Folks, World War II was going before the United States got involved. It's not like we said, well, until America's in this war, it's not a world war, you know. Anyways, sending Patriot missiles. Why doesn't the United States government just say they're going to send tactical nuclear missiles into Ukraine? Let's just go the whole way. Let's just get it on, right? Let's just get it over. I don't think that's a bright idea. But that seems to be the mentality of some of these people. It seems to be the mentality. All right, folks, I'm going to call it a night. I'll see you 0 dark 30. I'm going to go do some math, I think. 1 potato, 2 potato. And here's, let me just put this out there this way. What's more important, right? How many years I've been on the air with you guys and my counting, or the counting that hasn't been done properly in Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and every other state in the union. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi, and happy birthday, Prepared Mind channel. What the fuck? You guys be cool. We've started our 10th year. Here we go. Is it 10th year? Thank you all for supporting the channel, no matter what the math is. I'll see you guys later.
Everybody knows, so everybody knows it's
Yeah, maybe that's right. Let's see. Yeah. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And so 2023 is our 10th year. We're in our 10th year. Isn't that your 10th year anniversary, or do you have to do the whole fucking year before you get to your 10th year anniversary? Okay, we're in our 10th year. Hasta la vista, Plaza del Domingo, Semper Fi, Godspeed. Sheesh. Well.